Okay, so once you have the DevKitPro executable downloaded, we're going to go ahead and execute that. So for me, I'm running on a Mac for this demonstration. I have downloaded the DevKitPro to my drive, and I just put it in a temp DevKitPro folder, and we can see that by doing that. And all it is a Perl script that's going to go out, download the environment that we need to get, and it's going to install those into a particular location. And when I run this, you're going to see exactly that. You're going to see that it's going to download the files and then possibly unzip the files and then move them into place. I don't believe that there's any compiling, but we'll find out. I haven't done this in a long time, so here goes our shot. So right now it is currently a non-executable file, but that's fine because I can just append it with Perl. So we're going to type in Perl DevKit PPC, which is for the Wii compiler. It uses the PowerPC chip inside of the Wii, so we have to compile it for that. So I'll go ahead and give that a go. Hit enter, and it's going to start downloading the stuff, and it's going to install right into my users folder, Mac DevKitPro. And I'm probably going to pause the video while all this is happening because it's going to download a bunch of files. It's probably going to take a little while, but that installing to path is kind of important because we're going to have to make adjustments to our environment variables so that it knows to look at that path to find the compiler and any other tools or libraries that we're going to want to use for whatever, for the application that we're making, the game that we're making for the Nintendo Wii. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it here, and I will resume after this completes the download portion. Okay, it's done doing what it needed to do. So it went ahead and downloaded several libraries as well as the DevKit PPC, which is the compiler. And then after it downloaded all the files, it went ahead and extracted those into the user Mac DevKitPro folder. And then it checks to see if there's some environment variables set, and it's these DevKitPro and DevKit PPC variables. Chances are those were not previously set, unless you had this environment set up once before. But in a practically brand new install of Mac OSX for myself, I don't have these variables set up in my environment. There's two different ways to set these variables. One in a system environment, and a second one would be in your user environment. And what happens is when your system boots up, there's a certain profile that gets loaded with certain environment variables that's global, if you will, or system wide. And then what it'll do is the user that's logging in, it will look for a set number of file names, and if it comes across one, it'll also load those into an environment as well. And those are what I'm calling your user environment variables. And so for this, on Mac OS X by default, I believe it uses a .profile file that's located in your root directory. And what that means is the root for your particular user. So in my case, that is /users/Mike. That is my root path. So when I log in as myself, that's the path that it gives me. So in here, there is a .profile file that I can put these environment variables to load up when I log in. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. I'm going to use the tool VI. Use whatever text editor that you wish. You can use the default editor in Mac. You can use Nano, VI, Emacs, whatever you're more comfortable in. You can go ahead and load that up. Even on Mac here, I could just do open, and it should open a text editor for me. Now, I'm not usually in GUI type programs, but I can go ahead and edit it here. Let me just go ahead and make the font a little bigger. Uh-oh. Alright, and I'll spread this out. Thanks. Alright, so this is kind of like a little bash script, so to speak. And one thing that we can see here is MacPorts put some stuff in here. And it created an export variable that's called path. Now this isn't a different path. This is appending to, or actually it's adding some path in front of the system path. So the system already has a variable called path, and you can notice that by this right here, this $path. And what it's saying is set the variable path to this string and also add what's already currently in paths what the value of path is currently. And so path will now have this oplocal bin, oplocal sbin, plus whatever the system setup path to have. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add in our DevKitPro and our DevKitPPC per the instructions below. And I'll also go ahead and make sure that this is on the instructions for the website as well, because I do have the instructions for both Windows and Mac and Linux posted, but I need to add this environment variable because I created some of that stuff before I actually did the tutorial. So we will put right here, we'll put export DevKitPro equals, and we'll just go ahead and use quotes just because the other one uses it. I think it's good practice. I think you can get away without it, but we're just going to go ahead and add it. /users/Mike/DevKitPro, and end quote. This path is going to obviously be different on your machine. Again, the instructions pretty much tell you what you need as the values down here. This users Mike DevKitPro, and then when we do the DevKitPPC, it's going to be this $bracket DevKitPro bracket /DevKitPPC. And that's just using that variable that we're creating right here, this DevKitPro. We're just substituting that as a variable. We could put /user/Mike/DevKitPro/DevKitPPC, but that's a lot of typing when we can just do DevKitPPC equals $bracket DevKitPro/DevKitPPC. Okay, now we can go ahead and save this file and go ahead and close it. Excuse me. Now, one thing that we can do is either close out of our terminal and reopen a new terminal so that we get that environment set up in our terminal, or what we can do is something called sourcing the file. And to do that, the structure of that is dot space the path to your .profile. So in this case, it's users mic .profile and enter. And all that does is that sources your .profile into the environment. So it runs it like a little bash script, so to speak. So now, if I type echo $devkitpro, it should give me the path to the DevKitPro. So it tells me users mic DevKitPro. And same if I do $devkitppc, it'll say, hey, users mic DevKitPro / DevKitPPC. Now, it looks like the quotes are not supposed to be there. As you notice, it's given us quotes here instead of the actual path we want. So I'm going to go ahead and open my profile up again and just remove these quotes. Okay. And I'm going to save, close out of there, and I will resource my profile file again. Now let me go ahead and type that. Okay, so now it gives me my path with no quotes, and then if I do the devkit ppc, again you see the original path, users mic devkit pro, and then it appended the devkit ppc to it. So now our environment is pretty much ready to go to start creating video games for the Nintendo Wii. So I'm going to close it off here, and I will pick up the series or the tutorials back up on my next one, which is going to be just creating a blank screen now that we actually have an environment. And maybe there will be a future one installing an emulator. That way we don't have to communicate with the Wii just yet to get something going. So be on the lookout for the next set of tutorials. Thanks.